It's been a week since Itto released, and to be honest, he's alright. While he's not weak, he is not exceptional either. He's a very standard 3 out of 5 rated DPS character, similar to one like Xiao, but just without the AoE. For those of you who are new to the channel, our channel is more focused on meta analysis, and 3 out of 5 is one of the best rating that a character can possibly get, because this will imply that they are balanced, can roll for the character if you like them, and they will have good performance. But if you don't care about the character, then you're not pressured to roll for them either, because they are not completely broken. I think that Itto is a decent role if you do enjoy him. Ideally, you have both Albedo and Goro, hopefully from rolling the Itto banner, and him being able to deal competitive damage as other mainstream 5-star character put him into a similar league as other characters, you know, like pretty much every other mainstream 5-stars. But if you just want a Unga Bunga playstyle character that's easy to play and also fun to play, or if you just really like the Geo brothers, then Itto could be a really good pickup for you. He will be able to perform well. However, from a pure meta point of perspective, there isn't much reason to roll for Itto. When we're talking about the meta, we are looking for characters that are truly above and beyond, and this is not really the case for Itto. Albedo is not required to play Itto, but it for surely makes Itto much better. And from a meta point of perspective, it's pretty much you need to have Albedo in order to bring out the best out of the Itto team. And it does make Itto quite expensive as Elite, another limited 5-star character to be played in a specific team. And not to mention that C6 Goro at the current moment is also fairly expensive. It's fairly hard to obtain a C6 Goro without rolling on the banner for a large amount of spending, which usually means you're going for Itto Constellation. If you don't have Albedo though, at the very least you should probably have Zhongli, although you could just pick up Zhongli in the near future when he get like a rerun during Chinese New Year. So it's not like you cannot roll for Itto if you don't have Albedo. Itto is quite expensive, however, in terms of both primo investment as well as resin investment. I feel like a lot of people are not really sure what I mean when I say expensive, but an example here is that Albedo here costed me $300 without primo, while Itto costed me $200 without primo. So I spent $500 on this team, and adding on the Zhongli on top is like $600, $700. Now, while the same is kind of for Morgana, like Venti, Ganyu, and well, Mona is like a 50-50 loss, so you don't really spend too much on Mona. But the thing about these two characters is that they're individually much better than these two characters, so they are able to generate much more value for your account. You don't pull for Venti just to play him in Morgana. You can use Venti in a lot of different teams, and Venti is useful in a lot of scenarios. Similarly, Ganyu is really useful in a lot of scenarios. Ganyu is just individually stronger, so they have just more value. Where these characters are pretty much only ever going to be played in this team right here, and I can't really use them in anywhere else. I know people are going to say, oh, you can use Albedo in like Xiao team or whatever, but that's like 1 or 2 limited cases where these characters have much more uses. It's just more value for your money, aka more better bang for your buck. So that's why Itto is more expensive compared to many other characters, especially when you consider that a lot of the other 5-star limited doesn't need other 5-star character to work. For example, Hu Tao have Xingqius, Xiao have Sucrose, and so on. It's not a big deal, especially if you're committed and have been setting sight on playing Itto. If you only care about playing Itto, then you don't really care that Geo team can only work with other Geo team. But if you are a person who is looking for a character that is overall really good for your account and can be played in multiple different teams, just know that Itto is a rather expensive one because he doesn't do that. Anyway, the weakest point about Itto is just that he is Geo. But other than that, he doesn't have that many weaknesses, but unfortunately, he also does not have that many upside. To be honest, I think one of the biggest problem I see with Itto is just that he's not special in any way. Like, what I mean by that is when we compare him to other characters, Xiao have massive AoE, Hu Tao have very good single target damage with a very high damage burst window, Ganyu and Ayaka have freeze team, with Ayaka having also a very good burst window, and you can even argue Eula have something cool about her, which is, you know, Eula have one very giant nuke, which might come handy to you in one day. But Itto doesn't have anything like that. Sometimes you might want good burst against hypostasis. Sometimes you might want really good elemental application against Lecter. Sometimes you might want like freeze, sometimes you might want CC. There is nothing like that for Itto. The only thing Itto does is he do damage, and that's it. Well, and I don't know, he applied Geo application, I guess. At the end of the day, Itto is a very stat-checking character, just like other Geo character, which means that his damage is tied in the injective relationship with the amount of stat that you have, because Geo is incapable of doing any reaction. And you can see this being presented in Itto's specialized supports Goro as well. You know, the only purpose of Goro is to give stats to other character. Goro buff your defense and Geo damage. Those are just stats. He doesn't do anything else except give you stats. And with all of that, Itto can dish out quite good damage. Again, it's pretty much equivalent or similar to other mainstream DPS character, which is pretty good because even though he can do the same damage as other meta character, he have a easier time at doing that damage than other meta characters. He doesn't have any gameplay issue at all, aside from, well, he's Geo. But from a meta point of perspective, for a character that only bring damage to the table, he really should be able to do more damage than other characters, like at least a good amount of damage above other characters. You know, if I want a character that just does damage but does the same damage as other character anyway, then why do I really want this character? Well, aside from the fact that he's cool and the cow is cool and I really like to play him, there's actually just no reason to pull for him from a meta point of perspective. Again, I have to clarify, everything in this video is from a meta point of perspective. Although a quick thing to call out is that Itto does scale really well with stat, as he's a stat checking character. This means that for Dolphin player who are willing to spend more money potentially on his signature weapon like Red Horn, Constellation on Itto, or Constellation on Itto's support aka C6 Goron, or you're dedicated to farming for a really good artifact on Itto like a 240 CV plus artifact, he can actually perform extremely well with those kind of investment or stats. And this might or might not be applicable to you depending on your wallet status. For example, personally, I actually have a very invested Itto in terms of artifact, and I have a Refine 5 Serpent Spine on top. I did get really lucky on my artifact roll. You can see that in my previous artifact rolling video for Itto that I got some extremely good artifact. And so with those, I can confidently say that with really high stat, he does perform decently well, but you can say that about every other character. Although the good news here is that this are all assuming that you are playing Itto normally. Playing normally as in how most people is gonna play it, the Unga Bunga playstyle. Itto does have this non-trivial playstyle, which is reacting to the amount of stack you have in real time, which is the dynamic combo playstyles on Itto. You see, most people might assume that the way to play Itto is just to normal attack 4 times to get stacks, and then you spend your stack to do a charge attack, but that's not always true, because for one, doing a 5 charge attack combo sequence does not always result in doing the most damage. Some people have done the math. Chinese Theory Crafter have done the math using calculus to show that this is not actually always the case, especially with Itto that you are not allowed to go beyond 5 stacks. This means that stacks management is a really high skill expression thing you can do on Itto, because the amount of stack that you have at any given moment is not static. Maybe your Ushi got hit and now you got like extra stacks, or the other way, maybe one of your attack didn't connect because you know the Wolfhound have like bullshit hitbox, then you lose extra stacks, and so now the amount of stacks you have to do your combo is different, so you will want to change how you perform your attack because of that, which means Itto is a very dynamic character because you have to actively react to how many stacks you have in the middle of the battle. And this does not mention the fact that there is various tech around Itto that lets you go even beyond that. And this is something that I really liked it, you know, because while a normal Itto can have equivalent and matching DPS as other meta characters, a skilled Itto, a dedicated Itto player who is willing to do all of these can go above and beyond and turn them into a greater DPS. One of the technique around Itto is called attack skipping, and it's unique to Itto. This is because while Itto normal attack go like this, he go like 1, 2, 3, and then finish up with a slam. When you do any other action on Itto, it actually doesn't interrupt his attack sequence. Once again, this is unique to Itto. For example, I can do 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. As you can see, I'll still finish up with the slam even though I have dash to cancel that one of my attack. This effectively allows me to skip one of my attack to get to my last attack faster. So again, I'll show you 1, 2, 3, 4. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna initiate a dash to cancel out my second attack as soon as it begins. So to demonstrate, it'll be 1, 2 skip, 3, and 4. You can see that I completely skipped it over the second attack and got to my last attack quicker. I'll demonstrate one again, so 1, 2, 3, and then 4. At the end of the day, Itto is definitely not a bad character, it's just that he doesn't do anything exceptional. For a character that is very easy to play, for a character that just does damage, I think it's alright. After all, he does the same damage or very similar damage as other meta character, which means that he will be able to clear content. And so if you really like Itto, you can definitely roll for Itto. In fact, you know what? I'll actually say that he's really good if you really like him. Because if you really like him, that means you are willing to dedicate playing him, as well as dedicate a Geo team into playing him, and dedicate farming artifact for him. So this basically solves his weaknesses, and it gives him really good scaling, as he scaled, again, really hard with investment. So if you are super dedicated into playing Itto, he's actually quite good, especially after you learn all those crazy combo, which we'll talk about in the next video. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.